The first vote by a Senate committee is due over the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court. It follows a dramatic testimony by Judge Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, who had accused him of sexual assault. Professor Ford, close to tears, described the alleged attack in the year 1982 in detail, saying it had drastically affected her life. Judge Kavanaugh angrily denied that he had assaulted her or anyone. President Donald Trump has urged the full Senate to approve his nominee. Republicans currently have a majority of 51-49, but the outcome is far from certain, with a number of senators on both sides undecided. The American Bar Association has called for a delay of both votes to allow the FBI, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation, to investigate the claims made by Professor Ford and two other women. The Supreme Court plays a vital role in U.S. political life. Appointed for life, its 9 members have the final say on lawmaking in the U.S. Judge Kavanaugh's appointment would tilt the balance in favor of conservatives for years to come. Meanwhile, the White House has expressed confidence that Kavanaugh will be confirmed soon.
What we've said before is that he's been through 6 separate background investigations by the FBI, and having gone through one of those myself, I know how thorough the process is. They knock on your neighbor's door, they talk to your classmates from everything back to elementary school, high school, college. At no point has this ever happened. And there's a process that this goes through, and it went through it yesterday, and it was unfortunate, frankly, the process that it went through yesterday. I think what Democrats did was absolutely disgraceful, and this is something that could have been done in a private setting. It could have protected both Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh.
And now we have our correspondent, Kevin McAleese from Washington, D.C., joining us live. Kevin, talk to us. The first thing I want to ask you is what are the chances that the vote will be pushed and an FBI investigation will take place?
Well, that's what the Democrats would like to happen. That's what the American Bar Association would like to happen, both repeating those calls this morning. They are falling, I must say, on deaf Republican ears at the moment. There is a Senate committee right now summarizing that 8 hours of testimony from Dr. Ford and Brett Kavanaugh yesterday before those same 21 lawmakers. They are putting together their closing arguments ahead of a vote now due to take place in just under an hour's time. The Republicans, the all-male Republican majority, have the advantage in terms of numbers. There was one Republican in there, Jeff Flake. He was key to all of this because no one was entirely sure which way he was going to go. He's a known Trump critic, and he had sort of paused on whether or not to come out and announce where he was going to fall down on Kavanaugh. Well, we now know he's going to support Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. So the expectation at 1:30 local time here when they begin voting is that Republican majority will see the passage of Brett Kavanaugh through to the next round. That next round is expected to be a procedural vote. That could happen as early as Saturday. That's to determine really for the Republicans whether or not they have the numbers. If they deem that to be the case, you could see a final full Senate vote on Brett Kavanaugh's position on the Supreme Court come as early as Monday or Tuesday.
Right, Kevin, I also wanted to ask you, it's not the first time a nominee of U.S. President Donald Trump has found themselves in trouble. How do you see this entire Kavanaugh saga affecting the midterm elections in the U.S.?
Well, Brett Kavanaugh's appointment has become a massive political issue, obviously, and I think it's also part of the wider Me Too conversation and outcry that's occurring across the United States. That's affected Hollywood, that's affected politics, obviously, not to mention journalism as well, and other sectors. So it all comes down to whether or not you fall down on the side, especially in this case, of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, whether you believe her testimony, or whether or not you trust the words, the defiant display from Brett Kavanaugh yesterday. I don't think this actually moves the needle. much. I think if you supported Blasey Ford, you still do. If you supported Brett Kavanaugh, you probably still do. I don't think it has a massive impact, but this president chose his nominee. Okay, he's backed his nominee. He's called him a gem, a great intellect, a high quality individual, and he was always going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And remember, this wasn't a criminal trial, of course. This was a job interview. That's how the Democrats wanted to frame it. Certainly the Republicans were more keen to present it as a criminal trial. Why? Because the benefit of the doubt will go to the defendant. In this case, that was Brett Kavanaugh. That, at least for this procedural, this upcoming vote, seems to have worked.